Hello guys. So in this session, we are going to learn how to monitor .NET app logs using Elasticsearch. So let's start. So first of all, here, as you can see, the some previous sites. Okay, so first of all, we need AWS account with Ubuntu 24.0 for easy to instance. Then we need at least 2 CPU cores and 4 GB RAM for smooth performance. And we need Java and .NET installed. So as you can see, this is my AWS account, and as you can see here, I have successfully launched my instance and I have successfully connected to my terminal. Okay. Now it's time to install Java and .NET. Okay, so let's start to monitor .NET app logs using Elasticsearch. So first of all, as you can see, the first step is setting up Ubuntu EC2 instance. Okay, so first of all, we need to update the system packages. Okay, so as you know the command. So first of all, I'm going to clear my screen, and the command is sudo apt update. So as you can see, it's updating our system package. Okay, it's done. Then the next step is Elastic requires Java, so we need to install OpenJDK 17. So to install Elasticsearch, we need a Java. So that's why we are going to install OpenJDK 17. So the command is sudo apt install -y OpenJDK 17 JDK. Okay, so we have successfully installed OpenJDK. Okay, if you want to check the version, then you can run the command java -hyphen version. You can see the details, OpenJDK 17, runtime, and so on the details. So it's done. Now it's time to install .NET. Okay, so in my prerequisite side, I mentioned we need Java and .NET. Okay, so we have successfully installed Java. Now it's time to install .NET, the version at 8.0 SDK, so necessary for developing and running .NET applications. So let's install .NET using the following command. So it's done. We have successfully installed .NET. Okay. Now it's time to move second step. So the second step is let's install and configure Elasticsearch. So first of all, import the Elasticsearch GPG keys using the following commands. So I'm going to import these GPG keys using curl command. Then next is let's add the Elasticsearch repository. Then let's update the system package using sudo apt update command. Okay, now it's time to install Elasticsearch. So the command is sudo apt install -y. So as you can see, it's installing Elasticsearch. Okay, so it takes few seconds to install. So wait for few seconds. So as you can see here, we are going to install Elasticsearch. So we need the memory of Elasticsearch is 648 MB. So as you can see, it's done almost. Okay, so as you can see, it's done. Okay, now it's time to modify the Elasticsearch configuration for remote access. So let's modify the configuration file of Elasticsearch. So let's scroll down, go to the network host and uncomment this network host and replace this IP with 0.0.0.0. Then let's scroll down and let's go to the discovery. And in this, first of all, let's remove this discovery host 1 and host 2 and uncomment this discovery host seed host. Then let's scroll down and go to the security and expect security enabled to replace with false. So let's save the file and exit. Okay. Then after changes configuration file, we need to enable the Elasticsearch. Then we need to start the Elasticsearch. Okay. So let's start the Elasticsearch. Okay. Now let's check the status of our Elasticsearch. As you can see, it's running okay. Then after that, send a GET request to check if Elasticsearch is running and responding. So if successful, you should see the JSON response with cluster information. So let's run using curl command. As you can see here, you can see if you want to access this in browser, then you can simply copy your instance IP, hit on browser, and the Elasticsearch port number is 9200. As you can see, the same output in browser. Okay. Then next is let's install and configure Logstash. Okay. So Logstash process log before sending them to Elasticsearch, install it running following commands. So first of all, let's install the Logstash. So as you can see, it's installing Logstash. So we need to wait for a few seconds. So we are going to install Logstash on Ubuntu 24.04 LTS. As you can see, it's done almost 65% done. Okay. As you can see, it's done. Okay. Now it's time to create a Logstash pipeline config that listen for incoming HTTP logs events. So the path is, as you can see, in /etc logstash config d .NET config. So the file name is .NET config. So we need to create this file in this path, and in this file we are going to add this following configuration to collect logs from .NET application and pass them and send them to the Elasticsearch. Okay, so let's save the file and exit. Okay, now as you can see here in this, first of all, this input block is, you can see the input. Okay, so here purpose that input block is that the set up the HTTP endpoints for receiving logs, and the port number is 5000. That Logstash listen for incoming logs on port number 5000. Okay, then code C, that JSON. Okay, so that tells Logstash to expect the decode incoming data as JSON. Okay, then next is this filter. In this filter, first of all, JSON. Okay, so here pass the JSON string inside the message field, and okay, then here data, right? Okay, so in this date, they pass them in a timestamp from the field. Okay, then set. Okay, then set timestamp. Okay, that used by Elasticsearch or Kibana time-based indexing and dashboards. Then here you can see muted. Okay, so in this, first of all, is rename. Okay, so rename field to more readable or meaningful ones. Okay, first of all, that add L label, then message, then log timestamp. Okay, then source context, logger name, then this add field. So this is add a custom field for easier filtering in Kibana. Okay, then remove field deletes metadata field not needed in Elasticsearch. Then uppercase converts log like information warning, right, to uppercase, like info warn in information warn. Okay, then next is output log. So in this output block, sends process logs to Elasticsearch. Okay, first of all, host. Point to local Elasticsearch instance, then index uses a daily index pattern like Logstash, date and timing. Okay, like or year, then month and date. So useful for time-based log manager in Kibana. Okay, so that's the file. Okay, so let's save the file and exit. Okay. Then after that, let's enable the Logstash. Then let's start the Logstash. And then let's check the status. So it's active running. So we are successfully installed Logstash also. Now it's time to install Kibana and configure. So Kibana provides visualization for Elasticsearch data and install Kibana on a system. So let's install using the following command. Sudo apt install -y Kibana. So as you can see for Kibana, it's need 361 MB. So let's install. So as you can see, it's unpacking Kibana. The version is 8.18.1. That's the latest version of Kibana that we are going to install. So as you can see, Okay, it's done. Now it's time to modify the Kibana configuration file. Let's open the configuration file, and as you know the changes, so first of all uncomment the server port 5601, then uncomment the server host, that localhost replace with 0.0.0.0, that means any IP. Then let's scroll down, and here uncomment this Elasticsearch host. So let's save the file and exit. And after changes any configuration file, we need to restart or start a server. So let's enable, then let's start the Kibana, and let's check the status of our Kibana server. Okay, it's active running. That means we have successfully installed Kibana also. Okay. Now, if you want to access the browser, then copy the instance IP, hit on browser, and the Kibana port number is 5601. So you can see this is the Kibana dashboard. Now it's loading. So wait for a few seconds. As you can see, it's loading Elastic. Okay. Okay, so we have successfully installed Kibana also. Now it's time to configure .NET application login. So we will create a simple ASP.NET Core Web API project to demonstrate logging. So first of all, let's run this command for this. Okay, so we have successfully create this .asp.NET Core. Okay, if I run the ls command, as you can see, okay, the folder. Okay, now after that, let's navigate to the project directory. So let's inside this. Okay, after that, now the next step is add this logs and logging dependencies. So we are going to run this. So I'm going to select and paste here, and we need to wait for a few seconds. So this package enables the log to the send logs to the console and Elasticsearch and over the HTTP. Okay, okay. Then it's done. Then the next step is let's open the program.cs file. And in this file, let's replace this content with this program.cs file. So I'm going to remove this and replace with this my file. Okay. So now let's replace with this my file. So let's check for once. Okay. So here, first of all, this namespace. So brings in necessary namespace for globalization, like ASP.NET Core MVC attributes, say logs and HTTP Elasticsearch syncs and say log hosting supports. Then here say log configuration, right? So here, first of all, minimum level informations that capture logs form information and above. Then enrich from log context, right? So here adds contextual data like request ID and etc. Then write to console its output logs to the terminal. Then write to the HTTP that send logs to a Logstash inside listening on port 5000 via HTTP. Then write to Elasticsearch. So it send logs directly to Elasticsearch and then index format, create daily indexes like Logstash and date and time. Then auto register template automatically register index mapping in Elasticsearch. Okay. Then next is here. Next, as you can see, ASP.NET Core. Okay, so that's the configuration and middleware app start. Okay, then custom endpoint. Okay, and then last is application startup. Okay, so that's the file. So let's save the file and exit. Then next is this is optional since we configure Serilog in code, but you can also define it app settings JSON for flexibility. Okay, so let's open this file sudo nano app setting JSON, and here let's replace this content with my content. This is my file, so I'm going to remove this. This is my file. So let's okay. So let's check. So first is here, as you can see, first of all here, logging, right? Then okay. So first of all, as you can see in this file logging, so first logging is set logs level for building ASP.NET Core login system. Then default is information logs, information and above. Then allow host, right? Then seri logs using minimum level, right to enrich and properties. Okay, so first is then first is logging, then second is allowed host. So it accept from any host uses primarily for security in production environments. Then third is that Serilogs, that configuration for Serilog, a powerful .NET logging library. Then here is using, okay. Then tells Serilog which things are being used. Then minimal level controls log. Okay, so that's the file, right? So that's the file of this. Okay, that app setting JSON. So in this file, that is logging all of host, right to. Okay, so here, first of all, logging, then allow host, say logs minimal label, right to, then ARG names, applications, properties. Okay, so that's the file of app setting. So let's save the file and exit. Okay. Then after that, okay, we create a controllers directly. So let's create a controller directory using the mkdir controllers. Okay. And in this, create a controller to simulate different logs, label, and errors. So let's edit this. using sudo nano. And in this controllers, logging controllers.cs, that are file, I'm going to add this data. Okay. So as you can see the data. So first of all, here using this Microsoft APT Core MVC and so on, the details of this, right? That's the file. So namespace and imports, right? Then controllers and setups, then constructor injection, get logging, test expectations. Okay. So that's the file. Okay. Now let's save this file. So I'm going to let's save this file using. So we have successfully created this file, right? That controller.cs file. Okay. Sorry. First of all, we need to inside this ELK login, and then let's paste this and let's okay. So let's save the file and exit. Okay. So now it's done. We have successfully created this file also. Okay. Then the next step is, now the next is let's run and test this app using this command, build an application that .NET build. So as you can see here, zero warnings and zero errors. Okay, it's built successful. Okay, if there is any issue, then it will give us error. Okay, then next is let's run the application using the command .NET run. So as you can see, it's running the application, right? So let's access this application. Sorry, let's visualize this .NET app logs in Kibana. Okay, so how? So first of all, let's go to the Kibana, click on explore on my own because it's running the .NET application. Okay, so then go to the menu bar, then go to the stack management, then here go to this Kibana data views, and here create a data view, enter a name for, sorry, enter a name. So name will be, okay, first of all, enter the Logstash in this index. Then name is .NET logs here. Let's click on save and data view to Kibana. Okay, now let's go to the Elastic and click on menu bar and go to the logs. Then click on all logs, data views, select this .NET logs. And as you can see, the all logs here. So here you can see Kibana display .NET app logs data from at least 15 minutes and visualize as a histogram analog with individual logs messages below. As you can see the data and logs. Okay. So as you can see here, first of all, this system logs here tagged with this application, then Kibana login demo likely formatting by Logstash come via settings, this HTTP sync Logstash Elasticsearch, then .NET logs that contains your application internal login information, raw message like a request set starting HTTP, right? So that's it. So it's done. So in this session, we have learned how to monitor .NET app using Elasticsearch. So thank you for watching and I hope you understand.